No! Video games.
What's up, dudes, and Happy New Year! As you might have recently seen, Max had his own Game of the Year video posted on Miles923, so I thought, why not throw in my 2 cents and show you what my Game of the Year was for 2013 as well. Now, this is going to be my best and worst for 2013, because I want to talk more, that's why. So without further ado, let's get right into it. And fuck build-up, let's just go straight into it. Game of the Year 2013. The Legend of Zelda, A Link Between Worlds. Yeah, that's right, I'm going with a portable game. Fuck off if you don't agree. Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds is the sort of semi-sequel to A Link to the Past, which is of course one of the best games ever made. If you disagree with that, stop watching this video. While I do think this is the best game to come out this year, and I do think this is the best Zelda game in years, I do have to say I have a little reservation about calling this the Game of the Year. Not that I don't think it deserves it, but I think it relies a little bit too hard on A Link to the Past. What I mean is that because it uses the same world and uses the same art style and enemy types and has a lot of the same items and a lot of the dungeons are in the same spots, much of this game was pretty easy to just blow right through for me. And if you've played A Link to the Past a lot or even a little bit, you're kind of going to know where to go and what to do. That doesn't mean the game's bad, it just means that it's just very reliant on what came before it. That being said, it still features a ton of great items, some nice puzzles, and a nice fluid pacing. The story is kind of a train wreck, and the item rental system is a bit broken. You can basically rent all the items immediately, and as long as you don't die, which is hard to do in a Zelda game, you're gonna breeze through this game and never spend any of the money that they've spent so much time building up as an important factor in this title. Still, when it all comes down to it, Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds is the best game you can buy this year, it's the best game for your money, and it's my Game of the Year for 2013. Worst of the Year 2013, Fighter Within. Yeah, it's a Kinect game, so that should give you your first clue on why this game is gonna lose. But more importantly, it's just a shitty game with or without the Kinect. Max has kind of talked about how he thinks the game might have been kind of fun with a controller. I honestly don't agree with this in any way, shape, or form. The game has a horrible fighting system underneath its Kinect motion control bullshit. The characters don't react when hit, the combo system is way too easy to exploit, and there's almost no difference between the characters at all. It's a terribly made fighter by a developer I've never heard of, the loading times are atrocious even when it's a downloaded title, and worst of all, it just isn't fun to play. Movement is crap, special move execution is terrible, and of course just trying to get it to do anything right in 2-player on Kinect is an exercise in frustration. It's the worst game of the year by a fair margin. There are other games that came out that were disappointing or mediocre, but none of them were just outright terrible like this game. When a game doesn't even function properly under the proper circumstances it asks you to do, then you really shouldn't be spending any money or time on it whatsoever. Anyone who pays money for this game, I'm so sorry for you. Co-op Game of the Year, Super Mario 3D World. Now this was kind of a tight race between this and Guacamelee, and really, if you haven't downloaded Guacamelee, please do so. Guacamelee is one of the best games you can download this year, bar none. So even though I don't have an award for it, you should still download Guacamelee anyways. But back to Mario 3D World. What makes Mario 3D World co-op Game of the Year is the fact that it works both single and with friends. It's a lot of fun with both. In fact, with friends, you get a sort of competitive mode because the player with the most points at the end of a level gets a crown for the next, and then that just leads into a sort of competition without ruining the game. While New Super Mario Bros. Were fun and a nice diversion on Wii and Wii U, and they really weren't that great in the long scheme of things, and the multiplayer and co-op in them was beyond borked. It just wasn't fun to play with anybody. It had to be played single player. Super Mario 3D World bucks that trend, makes the game fun to play with multiplayer, can actually improve the gameplay experience in some regards, and has a ton of post-game content, making it well worth your dollars. Totally worth it if you have a Wii U, and if you don't have a Wii U, well, maybe it's worth it. Maybe some of the big titles next year it will be the one to sway you over. But just know that whenever you do pick up a Wii U, you've got a good selection of great games to play. Biggest disappointment. Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Now, a lot of people probably would think I would say Bioshock or Last of Us, and to be honest, I wasn't exactly hyped as hell for those games to begin with. Ni no Kuni is a bit of a special case because I actually played and beat the DS version, and that was a fantastic 10 out of 10 gaming experience. When I got to the PS3 version, I was pretty disappointed by some of the choices and cuts. You see, on the PlayStation 3, there is far less actual game content despite the story going on technically longer. You're missing whole continents, you're missing towns, you're missing whole gameplay segments that are in the DS version. The story is much worse than the DS version. The DS version, you basically had to defeat Shadar, and it was solely focused on him and his relation to Oliver and their mother and all that. The PS3 added this whole thing with the White Witch and the little girl P and all this extra crap, and it didn't matter. It didn't help the game. It artificially extended its length. It was nowhere near the tightly paced and constructed DS RPG that the first game was. So that's why it was a real big disappointment for me. Even the similar story segments were just handled better in the DS one. For example, in the DS version, when Oliver's mom starts coughing and choking after saving Oliver from the river, it cuts to the next Ghibli cutscene where Oliver's in his room and Leah gives him some pie and says he hasn't been eating for 3 days. We know that his mom passed away. We don't have to have this weird, awkward, misplaced cutscene where Oliver's on his mother's bedside as she passes away in the night. It's just really bizarre. It's not well told. It adds too much and takes away from what was a well told and well paced game on the DS. It's a big disappointment for me, but at least the game was still pretty damn good, still worth owning. I still have the collector's edition and the book and everything, but man, was the DS version such a better experience. Hypest Game of the Year, Metal Gear Rising. This is pretty obvious. I have no problem saying this was the Game of the Year with Matt. There are a lot of good games that came out this year, and I think Metal Gear Rising is totally deserving of Game of the Year. And for me, it was definitely the hypest game of the year, and probably the most replayable. With the amount of work I have to do today, I don't get to play a whole lot of games as much as I used to, and even worse is I don't get to play back through the games after I've beaten them. Metal Gear Rising bucked the trend. Yeah, it was short, but it also was a game that I wanted to replay, and games don't have a lot of replayability anymore. This comes from this whole era of presentation we're stuck in the middle of, where everyone wants to have a big cinematic experience and have dim feels, and now that's bullshit. I'm playing a video game to have fun. I played video games since the early 80s. Video gaming was about having fun and doing cool things and feeling great because of what you accomplished, not because of how well voice acted a game was or how many hairs of a person's chin beard you could see on screen. Who cares? Is the game any fun? If people universally praise a game, but all say the worst part of the game is something that involves gameplay, and all say the best thing of a game is the presentation and story, then you've done something completely wrong. If presentation and story is what you're looking for, go watch some great movies, go read some great books. If you want to play a really great video game, play something like Metal Gear Rising. Stan Bush Award of Excellence. Saints Row 4. Yeah, I'm pretty much including this simply because it includes the song The Touch by Stan Bush. But more than just that, Saints Row 4 was taking what has become a big, giant open world Goodfellas simulator and decided to turn it on its head like every game in the series has done since 2 onward, and decided, you know what, let's just make a video game. Let's take the open world concept and make a fucking video game. Similar to what Crackdown did, where it took the open world and added fucking superpowers, Saints Row 4 goes the next step and adds even more craziness on top of it. It knows it's dumb, it knows it's stupid, but it also knows how to be funny. And more importantly, Saints Row 4 knows how to be vulgar, but not offensive. Because everyone in Saints Row 4 is in on the fun and the humor. You can be a man, you can be a woman, you can be a crossdresser, you can probably be a transvestite, although I don't really know if the game makes much distinction. It doesn't matter. You can be as big as you want, you can be fat as you want, muscular as you want, skinny as you want, bulimic as you want, goth as you want, hip as you want, urban as you want, jock as you want. It lets you do whatever you want, and the game doesn't care. You can sleep with whoever you want, man or woman, doesn't matter. Robot, fuck it, sleep with a robot. Saints Row 4 knows how to have a good time, knows how to include everyone in it, and simply knows that it's a video game. It's not trying to be the next Martin Scorsese, the next Quentin Tarantino knockoff. It just wants to be a fun video game and give you your dollar's worth. And that's why it gets the Stan Bush Award of Excellence. So there you have it, dudes. My personal best and worst of 2013. I think 2014 has a good start going ahead. We've got some excellent games coming out early on, and we got some excellent games coming later in the year. Let's all hope they come out, and let's get ready for 2014's Game of the Year, Kingdom Hearts 3. Nah, just kidding, guys. You know I would never do that to you. But seriously, 2014 should be a great year, starting off right with Titanfall and Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze, and Guilty Gear Xrd, and hopefully Rhyme as well. So let's have a safe and happy holidays, and we'll see you on YoVideogames all through the next year. Later, dudes.